Really quickly, I had to make this video. Big news just dropped, and it can change everything for diesel truck owners across America. So the 2009 Endangerment Findings is officially under review, and House Resolution 4117 is making serious waves in Washington right now. But what does that mean for the emission laws, deleted trucks, and your diesel build? Right now, I'm headed to the shop. I'm gonna go ahead and break down this huge news for you guys. In the meantime, I'm doing a quick test drive with this 2018 Denali Duramax. Funny noise going on with the front end. Either way, we're gonna go ahead and replace some parts. Also, anything purchased on the website, like a hat, diesel truck parts, key tags, decals, anything on the truckmasterdiesel.com website is gonna get you guys automatic entries in to win our turbo giveaway. I'm gonna leave a link in the description as well as the comments below if you guys wanna check that out. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and break down this exciting news. Let's get to the shop right now. So is this the end of emissions rules? The EPA moves to kill the 2009 Endangerment Findings. So in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and quickly talk about that. Look, I have a lot going on in the garage today, but I did wanna talk about this subject before I get started. So if you wanna watch till the end and see what's going on in the shop, definitely do that. But let's go ahead and get into the news. So what if I told you that the EPA is taking its first steps to making diesel deletes legal? Yes, this is actually a pretty big deal. I can't believe I'm talking about this right now. As a matter of fact, I am kind of believing I'm talking about this because earlier this year when Lee Zeldin made that speech in March, I predicted that things would start to change by the end of this year. Obviously, it's not the end of the year yet, but I'm predicting that there's going to be some big changes, and I'm already seeing it right now. But today we're going to go ahead and dive into the 2009 Endangerment Findings, what it is, why Trump's EPA wants it gone, also what this can mean for diesel emissions, deleted trucks, and the future of the automotive freedom. You see, back in 2009, the EPA ruled that greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane endangered public health and the welfare of people around it. And this decision was called the Endangerment Findings, and it gave the government power to regulate emissions from cars, trucks, power plants, you name it. And without this ruling, the Clean Air Act wouldn't even apply to CO2 emissions. And that means no more mandatory federal emissions rules for gas or diesel vehicles. Now let's just go ahead and fast forward to 2025. President Trump is back, and so is the fight against overregulation. And back in March, like I talked about here, the EPA officially started the process to reverse the 2009 Endangerment Findings, and they're saying that it was based on the flawed science and that the EPA went beyond its authority. But their goal is to basically strip down the foundation of every federal emissions law that tied to climate change, including the ones that ban diesel deletes. With all of that being said, what happens next here? So the proposal is now under review. It's going to go to the White House. And then after that, it's going to go to a public comment period. And then the final rule could drop late this year, possibly earlier of 2026. And that's in a perfect world. And believe it or not, it's very possible. There's a lot of rules that have already passed that people thought weren't going to pass this year, and they already have. But the environmental groups in states like California are already lining up to sue, and we all know that it's going to be a legal war. I mean, just think about it, what's going on in Nevada right now. I'm sure some of you guys are already following that story. With them signing that law that they're making it illegal for you to modify your vehicle. It's still currently illegal to modify your vehicle, but the fact that the state of Nevada is heavily enforcing it, and California's already got eyes on Nevada, and they're considering doing the same exact thing. But I'll tell you what, if this passes, it's going to make it extremely hard for the opposing side to fight this. But what does this mean for diesel owners? That's kind of specific because this is what this channel is all about. It's about truck builds, diesel modifications, things like that. But what does this mean for you if you're watching this and you want to modify your vehicle? If the endangerment finding is actually killed, the EPA might lose its power to regulate greenhouse gases. And that means that things like deleted trucks, aftermarket tuners, and EGR DPF mods might no longer be illegal under the federal law. You see state laws, especially in California, New York, Nevada, could still enforce emission standards. But for most of the country, this could mean the beginning of the end of the diesel crackdown. This is the biggest EPA story that we've seen in years, and whether you're a pro-regulation or pro-performance, the 2009 Endangerment Findings have shaped everything in the emissions world. And now we're watching it all just get basically challenged. But also I wanted to quickly talk about the HR4117 in the House called the Fuel Emissions Freedom Act. It's aimed at overturning key federal, state, and vehicle emissions rules. The bill was introduced by Representative Roger Williams. He's a Republican out of Texas, along with his co-sponsors. And this bill is now currently under review by the House Energy and Commerce Committee. I'm not exactly sure how quickly this bill will be moved, but I think it definitely deserves some attention. But the bill's sponsors argue that the current emissions and fuel economy mandates impose high costs on manufacturers and consumers, create regulatory uncertainty, and disrupt supply chains, especially for small, mid-sized automotive suppliers. By repealing these rules, they claim that it will restore economic freedom and strengthen domestic manufacturing. If you pull up this current bill, it's only 5 pages long. It doesn't take that long to read this thing. But essentially, if this bill is passed, smog checks and emissions tests could become a thing of the past nationwide. Also, gasoline blends and fuel formulations regulated by federal standards may be deregulated, leading to more variations in fuel from state to state. States like California would lose authority to enact or enforce stricter emissions rules for cars, trucks, or power plants. But in short, the federal government and states would be prohibited for setting or enforcing any motor vehicle fuel emission standards. But the HR is still early in the process, and right now it's just been introduced and referred to the committee. But if you just want to do a little bit more research, or you're concerned or curious, it's worth keeping an eye on the Energy and Commerce Committee hearings. And again, that's called the Fuel Emissions Freedom Act. I'm excited about that one. I'm actually more excited about that one, but I don't think that one's going to move as quickly. But either way, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Back in 2007, when they started putting the diesel particulate filters on these diesel trucks, only caused problems. It costs more money to fix them than it would be to delete them. I've been repairing these diesel trucks for several years, and I have noticed a huge trend with emissions. One of the biggest causes of failures with these newer diesel trucks are the diesel emissions failing, especially when they're driving. Happened to me. When I was pulling a trailer, I was stranded for several days. Matter of fact, I slept on a park bench. It was that bad, waiting to be rescued. And to replace and repair these vehicle emissions, especially when they haven't even hit 100,000 miles, is insane. And just think about it, the more and more advanced we get, especially if the government gives us more freedom to do this stuff, we can really dial this in. Also, leave me a like on this video so the algorithm will do its thing, so other people will be informed. And I'm hoping that this video informed you as well, because I do want to do that. I want to keep you guys up to date on the newest news. But either way, I'm going to pull this truck out. I'm going to pull the Duramax in. We have some work to do on it, and then I'm going to close this video out. But thank you guys so much for watching to this point. So what do we have in the shop today? A 2018 2500 HD GMC Denali Duramax 6.6 liter. This is actually my personal truck. I use this as my tow pig. I use this a lot. Actually, 80% of the time I drive this truck, there's a trailer connected to it. But for the very first time, I am now hearing noise from the front end. And I'm not talking rotors and pads. I'm talking about wheel bearing noise. And it's interesting because I've already gotten this truck off the ground, shook her down, there's zero play, but I'm definitely hearing something. It might actually be a brake pad making a noise, but I highly doubt it because it's kind of a grinding noise. But in order to remedy that, I'm gonna go ahead and replace it with a brand new set of Timken. I've never used them before, I've always heard good things. Timken, I believe that's how you say it. These are gonna be the front hubs, the front wheel bearings, if you will. Brand new speed sensors, everything ready to go. I've also never used this product before. By the way, this is not sponsored. I keep hearing good stuff about it, so I'm gonna try it out. Maybe I'll put it on my website, who knows? But Powerstroke, made in China. The Evolution Coated. Man, this is good looking stuff though, look at that. That's a good looking product. Also, Powerstroke brake pads. The Powerstroke Extreme Severe Duty, should I say. And if there's any cool verbiage on here. Any cool verbiage? Extreme carbon fiber brake pads. But let me know in the comments if you've ever used the Powerstroke brand. How have they been treating you? Because again, I've been hearing some very good reviews on this. However, that's very interesting that I have not replaced the front wheel bearings with all of the abuse that I've put this truck through. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing off the ground. We'll go ahead and start removing parts, and let's go ahead and see what we have here. It's always good to kind of go side to side just to check for any play in the tie rod, and up and down for wheel bearing, which we're not feeling. You can also even kind of push up. You can even use a pry bar and feel any sort of play from the lower or upper ball joints. But regardless, it looks pretty solid. However, the rotors don't look very good. Let's go ahead and get here on the passenger side. Yeah, I'm feeling nothing. She's nice and tight. Well, that's just steering. I don't know. We're still gonna replace these wheel bearings though. I guess we can call it the mystery noise. However, just looking at these rotors, you'll see it when I pull these wheels off. They're not in the best shape. We got a lot of grooves, we got a lot of wear. Pad right there doesn't look too bad. We'll go ahead and inspect this one, but I'd imagine it looks exactly the same as this one right here, the inner pad. Rotor doesn't look bad. Brake pads don't look bad. I think that my suspicion of the front driver's side noise is definitely coming in from the front end. But man, I'll tell you what, it didn't sound like a brake pad noise. It sounded like a grinding wheel bearing noise. I hate throwing parts at stuff when I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, but knowing that this is a wear part, not that it necessarily needs to be 100% changed, because the wear on these brake pads aren't bad. But regardless, these wheel bearings do need to be replaced. It has been a while. These are factory wheel bearings, never been replaced. But as you guys can tell, look at these brake pads. They look great. They look great, but the wear on these right here, a little uneven, and it's gouging into the rotor. This is a big old 34 mil for the CV shaft. Then you get behind her, you're gonna have 4 21 millimeter bolts holding this hub on. So we're gonna replace that right now. Gotta make sure I take the wheel speed sensor out before I drop the wheel bearing. She's in there pretty good. I'm gonna use a lot of anti-seize when I install this new wheel bearing. There we go. Doesn't look terrible for the amount of abuse I put this truck through. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this off. I'm gonna straighten that out a little bit, but man, I really don't want to buy a brand new brake shield because that's still intact. But that was on there good. By the way, I did take out the O-ring that was inside there with a pick tool. So if you guys decide to reuse the O-ring, just so you know, if you're using brake clean to clean all that up, you start shooting brake clean all over the place, you're gonna warp this rubber right here. Unfortunately, the wheel bearings don't come with a set of O-rings, which would have been really nice. I might have to outsource them. However, I'm gonna clean this up, lubricate it, and see what I can do here. But yeah, just a good tip there, just in case you guys start going crazy with brake clean. You can wear this O-ring out really easily. So this is Permatex anti-seize. Doesn't really matter what brand, just get something on there that's gonna prevent corrosion. Super important, you're already there, you might as well do it. Also, when you go to service this again, it'd be super easy to remove. These things come out like butter. But don't be shy, just get everything as much as you can while you're there. We gotta line the splines up with the wheel bearing, so it catches. There we go. And then just slide the hub all the way into the steering knuckle, just like that. And then once you've lined the holes up, just run the bolts in and run them in good. I'm not going to send these home completely yet. I just want to get them lined up. But get a little bit of grease on the sliders. We'll go ahead and apply the brake pads. That should do it. I'm just compressing both pistons in. That way when I put this caliper back on, it'll fit. Bottom it out using a C-clamp. This is a 6-inch. You can buy this from Harbor Freight for like 12 bucks. That's it for that. I don't think any of the wheel bearings were really bad, but man, were they in there. They were in there good. Looks like I got a lot of cleaning to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do all this off camera, guys. We'll go ahead and get to the test drive, but I'm gonna put all this back together. You guys saw that I just installed brand new brake pads and rotors and hubs right here on this side. I'm gonna do the same exact thing to the other side. Don't need a video of that. So I've been driving this truck for about 5 minutes now, and the noise that I was hearing is 100% gone. So my suspicion was correct. It was the wheel hubs. So that's pretty cool. But again, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on what's going on with the EPA, all this stuff that's being pushed to Congress, and I'm hoping that they'll get a resolution quickly. But hey, listen, don't let your guard down. I know that this is all exciting and stuff, but it's not completely gone. I think if anything, you should be more worried about your local environmental agencies in your state, whatever they call themselves. Pay attention to those folks. But as far as the EPA is concerned, this is huge. Before I hang up with you, just a quick warning. Be careful where you're getting your news sources from, your EPA news, should I say, emissions news. I don't know. There's a lot of YouTubers out there, a lot of Instagram influencers, Facebook guys that will be posting things about this subject for clout. So just be careful. As you guys can tell, I don't post EPA stuff constantly. I want to keep this stuff relevant. If it's big news, I will make a video on it. So subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys can't miss a video on this stuff. But in the meantime, I still have a lot of projects to get to, so stay tuned for that. I just had a pallet of parts coming in for the gasser build that we're doing on the channel. I'm so excited to post that video. Also, new hats on the website. Click that link in the comments below. I'll also leave it in the description. truckmasterdiesel.com. It's my personal website. But again, let me know in the comments, do you think this stuff's gonna pass soon?